John just goes right to he distributed to the disciples. Luke has and broke and gave to the disciples, so broke comes first. Mark and broke the loaves. Matthew and broke and gave the loaves. I would rather have and broke the loaves instead of and broke them, or just and broke. And broke the loaves and gave them to his disciples and gave to the disciples and distributed to them that were sit down. He distributed to the disciples. Which sounds better? And broke them and gave the loaves to the disciples, or and broke the loaves and gave or and distributed to the disciples? When, this is it. When he had given thanks and blessed them and broke the loaves, he distributed. I'm not going to have another and gave. I'll have he gave or he distributed, because that's how it is in John. He blessed and broke and gave. So, no, I like how it is. When he had done all these things, then he gave, or he distributed. So I won't have and gave. But still, it doesn't solve the problem now. Should it be and broke the loaves? Yeah, I'm going to have it that way. When he had given thanks and blessed them and broke the loaves, he gave or he distributed. I would like to have, well, hold on. John has distributed to them. So what about gave? Is that for both? He gave to the disciples to set before the multitude. And gave to his disciples to set before them. Matthew, and gave the loaves to his disciples, and the disciples to the multitude. Okay, so Matthew and John are the most similar. He gave or he distributed to the disciples. And the disciples to them that are sitting down. I think because there's gave and distributed, and because distributing is more involved than just giving, because distributing is to a larger group, I want to have distributing be to the multitude. The disciples distribute to the multitude. And Jesus gave to the disciples. That way I can have both give or gave and distributed. I would have to be moving distributed down where actually no other Gospels have a word. It just says the disciples to. And gave to his disciples to set before them. Yeah, I'm going to move distributed. So, and blessed them, and broke the loaves. And broke first. So there's no broken John. And broke in Luke, Mark, and broke the loaves. So I'll be going with that way. And broke the loaves. Matthew, and broke. So and broke is all three, and broke. Now the loaves, in this location, it's only Mark, but the loaves are in Matthew, and gave the loaves. Okay, just the loaves. Matthew and Mark. Mark has and gave them, but them is in italics. And gave to the disciples. He gave to his disciples. He is from John, gave is from the others. I mean, safe distributed. To the disciples is John. Gave to the disciples is Luke. Gave to his disciples Matthew, and gave to, and his is in italics. So back to gray. Gave to now his disciples or the disciples? The disciples is Luke. Mark, his disciples. The disciples. Oh, look at that. It's the disciples in John. This, his, is in italics in Matthew, so I will go with the majority witness. I'll go with the. So, now it's green. The disciples, that's all four. And the disciples. That's Matthew. Mark, disciples, two set before them. Luke, his disciples, two. No. John, and the disciples. And distributed now from John earlier. To them that were sat down. Luke is kind of weird. It says, and gave to the disciples two set before. And I can't have two distributed. I'm pretty much replacing two set with distributed. So I definitely have to get rid of set. Maybe not two. I could put two after. And the disciples distributed to the multitude, or distributed before the multitude. John has to them that were sat down, so it would go with two. Two set before is in Mark. Matthew, to the multitude. So if I put distributed, it would go with two. I think we'll go with two. It's in all four. Yeah. And the disciples distributed to them that were sat down. Luke. The multitude in Luke. Mark has them. Matthew has the multitude. Well, I will put set down, because that would be more explanation. They are sitting. But instead of saying to them that were set down, I'll say the multitude that were set down. Just more descriptive. So the multitude is in Luke and Matthew. So orange. The multitude. That's the end of Matthew. Mark. Yeah, that's end of Mark. Luke, sit before the multitude. So I guess it's just John. I'll add at the end that were set down. So John only that were set down. Okay.